Just a lovely, cool early August morning at Yamina Rare Plants up in Monbach in the Dandenong Ranges, with the help of a few crows interjecting in the background. At Yamina Rare Plants, been in this site for nearly 45 years, and I've always been amazed at our climate. We get on average about 48 inches of rain a year, which is quite considerable by Australian standards, and the fact that in a general year, you get rain for most months of the year in adequate amounts to have a really good garden. The soils in the hills here are volcanic origin, but there is variable soils like all areas, from good to bad, but generally speaking volcanic soils, and this means that you can grow a wide range of plants very successfully. Conifers obviously love it in these. We've got heavy soils here at the top of the property where the conifer garden is. Just above that we've got some getting into the more chocolatey volcanic soil, and down below we go down into some more clay type soils. The oak in the background here is a hybrid oak. Sometimes you hear the word Macedon oak or some other terms. It's a lovely tree, never goes fully deciduous, although like we've had -5 down here this year, so it's lost probably 90+% of its foliage this year. This is the tree in the background. So it just shows you different seasons. Some years you can't even see through that in the winter because there's too much foliage. So it's quite variable from year to year, depending on how, and that's an indication of how cold we've had it already this year. Eucalypts are obviously a tree that covers most of the landscape in the hills here in the Dandenong Ranges, and that offers great shade for trees, but it also robs the soil of nutrients and water. So when you're gardening in these environments, you have to be mindful. My sister's and her husband have got a garden with this sort of conditions, and it makes a wonderful woodland, but obviously occasionally you get a limb come down from the large gums, but certainly, as you can hear in the background, great environment for birds and wildlife, which is mostly a blessing, but obviously sometimes a few too many possums for our liking as gardeners, but a small price to pay in general terms to have a garden in the Dandenong Ranges. Some of the conifers here, that bronzy brown coloured one is a Microbiota decuscata, sort of low spreading conifer that you rarely see these days. It's one we imported back in the 70s. There's a beautiful white variegated Cornus capitata here called Silver Lining in the background. Great foliage. For some reason a little difficult to propagate, but lovely tree. Occasionally have some of those available. This is Picea gregoriana. It's a lovely dwarf plant. This would be 45 plus, maybe even 50 years old, this specimen. It's a beautiful specimen. It's a deciduous tree here on the left. A little later in the season we'll see white buds emerge, and this is the Quercus canariensis albo, which is just a beautiful red bud or Quercus, and incredibly hardy small vase-shaped tree with masses of white blossoms. We've got some of the beech trees here. Like I say, everything's deciduous here at the minute in early August. That is, anything that's truly deciduous won't have a leaf on it at this time. But it just shows you that there's 52 weeks in a year, 365 days. So I think when we're gardening, we'll have to be mindful of that and try to have something of interest coming in our garden as much as possible throughout the whole year, all those 52 weeks. This is Picea abies acrocona. It's one we imported back in the early 70s. It's a beautiful spruce. It's just more of a large shrub or small tree eventually. This one here, once again, 45 or 50 years old. Great tree. This is one of the forms of the Colorado blue spruce, just in the foreground of the Pinus strobus variety. We've got Cedrus deodara in the background that dominates because it's obviously a very big tree. So wide range of plants always makes for interesting gardening. This is the Abies Procera glauca prostrata. Once again, we imported this probably in the 70s. It's a prostrate form of Abies Procera. Harry Lauder's walking stick, or Corylus avellana contorta, contorted hazelnut. So this is a male form of the hazelnut, and makes a great specimen tree, and it has these lovely catkins that hang down in the winter before the leaves emerge. So like your Corylopsis and a whole lot of other deciduous plants, you can get racemes of flowers. The witch hazels are another one that are flowering now in August here in Monbulk in the Dandenong Ranges, and we've imported a whole range of those. Dad imported several of the varieties: Arnold Promise, Pallida, Ruby Glow, Brevipetala, Sacchariniana. We've got Diane, Sunburst, Ruby Glow. There's a whole range of varieties, cultivars with perfume. The good thing about witch hazels, sorry I don't have a picture of one just, or a tree of one just handy here, but great in the autumn. Autumn colours. Flowers can vary from yellow, reds, oranges. Great autumn colour, and yeah, just very useful plants in the landscape. Obviously more of a woodland species. They don't like to be in hot, dry or arid spots, so you have to be mindful where you plant them. Some of the weeping maples in winter. That's Orangola, Acer palmatum dissectum Orangola. I think it's good to look at plants at different times of the year and see how they sit in the landscape, if it works or not, and always be willing to move things if the fit isn't right. That's Berberis Thunbergii Rose Glow there. Great, slightly variegated form with rosy red foliage with flecks of white and pink through it. Beautiful plant. This is the weeping larch, Larix Julian's Weeper. A beautiful weeping form. You can actually grab a branch like this one up in the middle. That one's coming straight up, but it will eventually hang down. So if you put a stake and tie it to that, you can run it up several metres. It'll go up two or 3 metres within 3 or 4 years on an old plant like this, and you'll have a trailing thick lot of branches just like this all the way up multiple metres if you want to. So any weeping plant, not just conifers, you can train up and get that effect. So if you need extra accent or height, train these weeping plants up, and you can change the effect that it gives you. This is a weeping cercis that I imported many years ago called Covey or Lavender Twist. Has pinky mauve flowers and has beautiful weeping habit, very graceful even in winter, and green heart-shaped leaves like some of the other cercis, and good hardy tree once established. And obviously you can get purple forms of these weeping varieties of cercis or redbud now too. This is a rare Abies, Concolor compacta. We've got Picea Abies. Now we imported 3 varieties: Picea Abies pendula, Picea Abies inversa, and Picea Abies reflexa. They all came from a notable arboretum and in America, and we've just decided to call it Picea Abies pendula because all of them, as far as we're concerned, as mature specimens after 50 odd years or more have been, as far as we're concerned, identical. And although I've seen them multiple times in gardens in America, Europe and elsewhere, I still think we'll just stick with Picea Abies pendula. It's a sort of a loose name, I know, but any of those 3 varieties slightly different, but the ones that they sent us obviously presumably all came off the same hybrid. So that's what we're calling it for the minute. The white daphnes in the background, epimediums naturalising nicely underneath in the woodland. You've got the beautiful juniper taxifolia lichensis, which is a really soft juniper, makes a wonderful ground cover. Underused really. I mean, conifers have been in and out of vogue over the years, but evergreen conifers have got incredible utilitarian use in the landscape, and mix them in with Japanese maples, cercis here, and other some of the lilacs, so forth. There's a whole range of varieties that you can mix them with. In UK, I saw at Adrian Bloom's garden when he toured, showed me around there for a day. His garden was covered in conifers and then interplanted with heathers, and that was just the most miraculous success story I've ever seen when it comes to a garden. These are the dwarf Korean lilac. They're Syringa myri pallidum. They're just a really brilliant plant for southern Australia here. They're handled hot, dry. They have masses of small mauvey purple flowers, and they never get too big, so for the little suburban courtyard or limited space, terrific plants. We also do them up on standards so that you can, if you need some shape or contrast or perspective in the landscape, buy a standard Syringa myri pallidum, and they'll make a beautiful natural mop on top. Even without pruning, they just make a beautiful tight magnificent specimen. Hemlocks are something you rarely see in Australia. We imported a whole range of them back in the 70s and 80s. This one's Suga canariensis Cole. They're magnificent plants. You can't put them in your hot, dry, hot wind type conditions in southern Australia. You've got to put them in a slight semi-shaded spot. In the hills here we can grow them pretty much in the full sun, but just be mindful, just give them sun but hot wind protection, and if you got them down in town, morning sun sort of conditions, but protect them in the afternoon. They just don't like any hot, dry conditions. So although a beautiful tree, has got some limitations. There's another specimen of the Picea rabies pendula, as we're calling it, and once again this one's been trained up, grafted at ground level but trained up, so you can create a wonderful landscape utilitarian plant. This came to us as Abies Concolor, just a blue selection. It's a beautiful colour, never has had a name with it. It was an actual cultivar out of a collection that we imported from, and I think from America. Thanks Mr. Perch in the background giving his commentary. It's always been a wonderful tree, hardy, takes everything you throw at it. We had a 44, 46 degrees many years ago, bit of a heat wave. People in Melbourne will probably remember. This tree never had any setback, never burned. Got this really dusty blue colour, and that's just a bit of a selection of a few plants in the garden here at Yamina, with beautiful views in the background. We're looking over towards Emerald along the ridge between the Callistra, the patch, and then off to the right, and then in the distance Emerald is in the valley in the distance. So a beautiful backdrop for us to turn up to work every day. Hope you can come up and visit us at the nursery, and check out my blogs on Facebook and Instagram. There's over 17,000 of them. There's a lot of information there that's free and accessible, and I hope that we can guide you with some of your plant experiences and gardening experiences into the future. Take care.